Almost everybody builds their base on the land. Why not change it up a little? Build it on the water. It's safer from mobs, it's beautifully flat, and frankly, sometimes it can look really good. So today, I'm going to show you how to build this awesome lake base. Let's go. I'm going to change it up a little bit today. I'm bored of building on the land. Obviously, I'm totally not, but I had to introduce the video somehow, didn't I? So today, this lake is going to be our canvas. And I've picked a really gorgeous seed for it. Look, there's a village in the background. There's a huge ocean right next to it. And the biome mix is absolutely brilliant. And that's really important because I'm giving this to you as a world download in both Bedrock and Java editions. And I'll give you details on how to access those world downloads a little bit later on in the video. And just to confirm, they are completely free. But now I've got to decide where on this lake I'm going to put this base. And I think I'm going to make it easy for myself and use the shallow bit in the middle. It just means I'll need fewer blocks to get down to the bottom. This is not a floating base. It's going to be stuck to the bottom like all bases should be. Otherwise it'd look weird. Now we are going to be making this up a little bit as we go along in terms of the palette and the blocks we use, but this is what I'm going to start with. So take a screenshot, pause the video, whatever it is you want to do, let's crack on. So I've come out to about where I want one edge of my base to be, and I'm going to place spruce wood 1, 2, 3 and 4 until it just pokes out of the water, and then I'm going to put oak wood 1, 2 on top of that, and that way the spruce wood looks a little bit like it's wet oak. That's quite a cool little trick you can use just to make things look a little bit more real. I'm then going to place 47 temporary blocks. I'm just using wool, but you can use whatever block you wanted. And at the other end of that, I'm going to place another oak and spruce column. So it looks like that. That orange block there is right in the center. I'm then going to place 23 more temporary blocks coming off either side of that central orange block, and then put oak and spruce pillars at each end of that one too. So you should end up with something that looks like that. And then using oak wood, I'm going to make a 49 block diameter circle around the top of these posts. So that means I'm placing a block there, and then I'm coming out 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then coming in one block, and I'm coming out another 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then I come in one and come out another 2, 1, another 2, 1 and another 2. And then I have to zigzag 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and we'll then repeat what we did at the other end in reverse. So from the end of this block we're coming out 1, 2 and coming out 1, 2, coming out 1 and 2, then we're coming out 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we're coming out 1, 2, 3, and we finish off on top of that pillar. That is 1/4 of our circle, so just repeat that on the other 3 segments, which will look like that. We're then going to make another circle inside of it is 21 blocks wide, which means we place our oak wood 10 blocks from our central block in all 4 corners. And from that block, we're going to come out 1, 2, 3, in 1, 2, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we're going to come out 2 like that, and then there and back, which gives us 1 segment. Do that on all of the sides. And you should have a platform that looks like that. And build some pillars on these circles as well, going all the way down to the bottom, and make sure you use that spruce under the water just to give that wet effect. You can then get rid of those temporary blocks. Then on each of these long straight edges, which they should be 9 long if you've done it correctly, we're going to create a 9 by 9 square. So we've got 1 block there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then carry on the square. And I've placed more legs going down on each of those corners. And if you come to the zigzag on the side of your circle here, if you start the zigzag with that corner, so we've got 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then it turns into 2. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teeth before we go into again. So count in the middle, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and under that one build a leg, and do that again on each of the 4 sides. So with all its legs, it's going to look like that. But it's not much of a base yet, so we need to start building up the structure, and specifically the floor. I'm going to start with some mud brick, and I'm going to use mud brick stairs to go all the way around the outside. And do make sure that all your corners are formed properly. It's really easy to place these when you've got lots of little corners and they don't quite work, so make sure it is a smooth stair line. You can see that one hasn't formed properly, so I need to knock out that block, replace that there, and now that's nice and smooth. And just keep placing these all the way around until you catch up with yourself on the other side. And we're then going to fill in the area between your big circle and your little circle with some stripped oak wood. This is very oak rich, my version of this, but you don't have to use these blocks if you don't want to. Make sure that your stripped oak, however, is all facing in the same direction by placing it in the same direction. You can see I'm facing this way with every block that I'm placing, and we've then got that nice straight line. Otherwise what happens is you get little bits going sideways like that. Now if you like that effect to give it a little bit of texture, go for your life, but for me, for this part of the build, I'd like it all very straight and natural. So it looks like that. Now I want to section off this bit in the middle from the rest of the lake. This is going to be a manual kelp farm right in the middle of our base. So I'm going to use glass blocks. I'm going to build all the way down from under this oak right to the lake bed. And I've also placed in 5 lanterns, one next to each post and one right in the middle, with some ladders going down the post so you can easily get in and out. And I've kept it really natural looking. It's not just one solid block of kelp, although you could do that if you wanted to. I didn't want it to look too artificial. So we've got a platform and a kelp farm right in the middle. We need to do a lot more though. I'm going to get oak log and I'm going to place it strategically around the edge of the base. So on the outside of these squares, I'm then going to place it on that block. Not that block there. That's not the one we want. We want it on that block right there. I'm then going to do that on all of the other squares as well. And then between them, I'm also going to place it on the block that has the pillar going down. And then I'm going to come across 2 and I'm going to count in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the 3. And then this 3, I'm going to place it there. And I'm going to come the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the 3 and this 3. And place it there. And do the same all the way around. And I've also placed them around the center circle. 1 at each end of the long end there. And 1 right in the middle where we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teeth. It is on that 3rd tooth. And we're going to raise this central area upwards. I've made each of these pillars 4 high. And then at the top of the pillar, over where we have these oak logs, I'm placing spruce fence. So just mirroring that spruce fence to make the circle that we have got over those oak logs. That comes out like that. That comes out like that. And that joins up. And I'm going to do that all the way around. And then on top, I'm going to put another circle of oak wood. I'm then trimming it with these mud brick stairs, just like last time. I'm then going to fill it in with this stripped oak log in the same direction as the bottom section, so we've got a matching top floor and ground floor. Well, it's not actually a ground floor, it's more of a water floor, but you know what I mean. And I've placed some lanterns underneath just so it's not dark. That should help with drown spawning inside of our kelp farm, although if you want to light it up a little bit more, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm then going to fill in all of these 4 end squares with dirt. I'm going to fix up all of these logs that are facing the wrong way. So I'm just take them out, pop them in so they're all facing in the same direction. Obviously when we've got a corner it's difficult to make it face in the same direction, but let's pop them all like that. It just looks a lot neater. I'm then going to come to the center of my dirt, 1, 2, 3, 4 across and 1, 2, 3, 4 in. I'm going to pop that out, place in a bottom slab and I'm going to waterlog it. And I'm then going to hoe the entire area. And I've planted those 4 platforms up, 1 with wheat, 1 with carrots, 1 with potatoes and 1 with melons and pumpkins. I'm then going to use oak fence and trim it all the way around. So far, it should look like that. But right now, you can't get to this upper platform, so we're going to build some steps up. And we're going to do it symmetrically, so I'm going to take out all of these blocks along the side here. I wasn't going to do this, but I've changed my mind, so it just proves I'm making it up as I go along. Let's get all of these out, and I'm going to build a set of steps that goes down onto the platform from these 4 sides. It seems the logical way to do it, a little bit like a Mayan temple style step. But we need to keep these sections accessible, otherwise we won't be able to get into our kelp farm. And I think that is going to work. There is a gap underneath it to be able to get in. This will be quite good for perhaps some storage, and upside down steps go all the way up to the top. Plenty of access for the kelp farm. I'm going to put one of those on all 4 sides. So it looks like that. I've added some fence posts up on each step as well, and then I've put fencing all the way around the top, increasing the height of that middle pillar. And this area up at the top is where we're going to live. And it's going to be a 9 by 9 square. I've built those 4 columns up 5 high. And I'm going to put in some cross beams and some pop outs. This is going to be an oak building, but it's not going to be a house in the traditional sense, because it's not going to have walls really. It's just going to have 4 arches going in each direction. We don't really need doors because this is going to be completely mob proof, and as a result of that mob proofness, we don't actually have to block our way with doors. So we may as well make it open. So before we decorate it and put in some detail, it's going to look like that. And we're also going to put a 4-way roof on it. And we're going to give a slight colour accent with this grey cobble. There's nothing else grey, so we're going to use the cobble on here. I'm going to place a slab there and a step there and a step there. The reason we're putting a slab here is because we put a step, it doesn't link up with both sides, does it? So we need to put in a slab. I'm then going to put in an upside down step, a normal step, an upside down step, and then I'm going to put a cobble block. And I'm going to bring it another upside down step, a normal step there, and then another cobble block like that, and then a normal size step there. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around. So the roof of that house looks like this. I've completed the top of the gable there with a little bit of a pop out upside down step for a bit of depth. And I'm going to create the rest of this roof in cobbled deep slate. So I'm going to pop one block there, I'm going to bring that round there, that round there, and when that joins up together, that will create a join. I'm then going to pop a cobbled deep slate block there, and there, there, and there, and then join that up as well. And I'm going to do that all the way around. So there's our roof right in the middle of our platform, but it still looks a little bit angular. Look, these lines are just too straight. So we need to break them up. I'm getting a cobblestone block, or a deep slate cobble block anyway, and I'm going to change up some of these steps so they're into blocks. You can see that really changes the way they work. I'm just going to try and fix that so that goes like that. Excellent. And then I'm going to pop that there and that there as well. I'm going to do that all the way around, but then I'm going to switch out some of the deep slate, cobble deep slate blocks into normal deep slate. Just gives you a slightly different texture. That's not going to work. That's going to have to go like that. I'm going to take this one, perhaps change that into deep slate. You can see the texture's ever so slightly different, and as a result it makes a slightly more interesting looking roof. And I now need to give this roof a gradient. Look how flat that is. It looks absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to pop one cobble deep slate block against each of these like that. I'm then going to get a cobble deep slate slab, and I'm going to put 2 cobble deep slate slabs just like that. That gives a nice edge and a gradient to the roof as well. I now need to fill in the end of this gable on top of the wall with some stripped oak. However, I am going to leave a 2-high hole right in the middle there for a window. Now these wooden platforms are pretty big, and I think I need to close them in just a little bit, otherwise it just looks way too wasted. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop that out there. I'm going to come out in a zigzag right the way across to the end of the circle, and geometry should mean that we are over that pillar. Yes, we are. Okay, so that works. I'm now going to create a ceiling across the entirety of this area, and what I'm going to try and do is when I get to about here, I'm going to bring it down a level like that, and as a result of that coming down a level, it will give a curved feel to the entire roof. I think that looks pretty cool. Let's do that on the other 3. Obviously we're going to need to put a little bit of light in here, so let's get some of these fence posts lit up. Yeah, I'm very happy with the way that's come out. And now really, all we've got left is detailing and decoration, which means I'm going to be popping in some trapdoors, some buttons. Obviously, I'm going to be bringing in some bushes, detailing up the flat walls of this house at the back there. And I think that sounds like something a time lapse would do. So sit back, relax, enjoy the music, and let's finish this thing off. And we are done. Simple but effective, and I've left lots of space for you to be able to put what you want into it. But what I have given you are 4 different villager trades, a kelp farm, which you could also fish in, 4 food farms, storage all over the base, your nether portal hidden in the roof of your house, and something that looks actually pretty cool. Go to avomance.com and hit free downloads. On that tab there will be a link specifically for the Bedrock world and also the Java world. And I really hope you enjoy it. That's all for this one. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to download it or if you're going to do your own version of it. Sometimes changing up the palette can make it look completely different. I did have a go at this with the stone palette and it does look absolutely fantastic, so I challenge you to do that. And I'll look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.